And I think we're live. Yeah, you aren't seeing things, players. This is Brock. This is Life with Brock going live for the first time in a long time from my workbench, aka my hotel room's table. And I'm on a little bit of a work trip right now and got a chance to do some toy hunting. So I'm curious if anybody's going to jump on here. It's really been a long time. But I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of rusty, and we're going to see how this goes. The lighting is whack because this was unplanned. I had really, I wonder if I even made this public. Oh, I did. Look at that. It was up, B. What's going on? So I went on a little toy hunt at Walmart and Target. And let me see, I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different action figures, and I wanted to share with you. So I want to see if you guys are here in the live chat. Do me a favor, bear with me. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. Let me know that you're in here. So I see Señor Rivera está aquí, and it looks like we got 7. We used to get a lot more people, but hey, life got busy, life got real. Some serious stuff has happened. Some good stuff has happened, and some really sad stuff has happened. But personally, I'm not going to end up talking about it. Family's great. My marriage is good. The kids are great. Our move to Ohio went phenomenally well. We did lose one of our puppies. He ended up getting sick. Or he had, I forget what it's called. It's a debilitating disease where it attacks the spine. They lose control of their legs. But you guys don't want to hear about that. I had to put him down. I'm not sure if you've been following my Instagram. I did mention it there and on Facebook. But let's get to the haul, because that's probably what you guys are going to want to see. Let's get going with the first piece here. And I got to say, I'm kind of liking the McFarlane's head. It's definitely hit or miss for me. And this Red Sun Superman is very, very nice. It is using that original buck for that first Superman they put out, but there's just something about it that just looks way, way better. I ended up picking up another one for a friend, Dog. There's your copy. He said he was in need of it, and what usually happens when I pick a figure up for him, he finds it the next day. So I'm sure you're going to find it, but I'm shipping this to you, player. I'm shipping it to you. Just kidding. I'll return it if you find it. The next figure that I found that I was excited for and that I didn't really think that I was going to pick up is this Death Metal Batman. Haven't read the story. I did pick up the Death Cycle. I have a tremendous desire to really, really paint that up. There's a guy on Instagram that is doing some pretty phenomenal work with his repaints of Bane and Scarecrow. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but if you go to my Instagram, I shared his work on the story, and definitely want to put him on the bike. He does look good. It's going to suffer from the McFarlane articulation. Hopefully in the future he'll improve on that. I don't want to belabor the point that everybody else has been pretty much trashing the articulation, like the torso articulation and some things here in the hips and the ball joints that they use are pretty trash. But I got to tell you, man, the sculpt on this thing is pretty impressive. I haven't read the story. I probably don't plan on reading the story. But it looks good. I picked him up, and I ended up going back to get another one for Ace Outlaw Customs because he told me his Walmart is not going to be picking up. So I did pick this up for him. And while we're at it, let me talk about some of the other figures that I picked up for him that he saw on the post that I put up on Instagram. And here's this gold label Batman. I mean, it's a McFarlane design deal. So if you're a McFarlane fan, which I am, you may want to pick that up. But I got to tell you, man, some of the design's pretty cool. that not really loving that head sculpt. You'll have to watch for somebody to review that. I will not be buying this for myself. That's for Aiden, Ace Outlaw Customs. And the last figure I picked up for him is this Mandarin Spawn. Again, he says his Walmart probably won't get it. And this is also a gold label, so I'm not sure if this is, well, I'm actually thinking that there may be another version of this. I think or is that just do you guys even know? There's 10 of you in here. Let's chat it up, guys. Help me out here. I need some help. Let me see if I can toggle this. Nope. What's up, Vic? Yeah, I'm alive, bro. Life got busy. So Mandarin Spawn. I mean, the detail's cool, but not my thing. So I picked that up for Ace Outlaw Customs. What have you guys been up to? Let me see. What time is it? If you guys are in the West Coast, it's probably 7 o'clock your time. Let's see what to show off next. You've already seen that. Oh, here we go. The Drowned. Pick this one up. And what's crazy is these guys don't. This is not a Build-A-Figure one, and this is in the wave with the Deathstroke and that Arkham Asylum Batman. I think it's Asylum Asylum or Origins. Then it's also in the wave with Robin Earth 20. Oh, -22. So really? So that's the wave. Really? This doesn't come with a. I'm confused now. Maybe this is just a standalone figure. This is not the Merciless. But I gotta tell you, man, the sculpt on her is pretty well done. Sorry about the lighting, guys. This is literally all the lights. Like I said, if you guys are just joining, this was an impromptu deal here to go live on Facebook. I've had the desire to do it, but my life is pretty busy at the moment. As you can see, I'm traveling for work now. But yeah, it really nails the character from the comic book. I did read the majority of the series. I thought the series was okay. It wasn't my favorite deal, but the Drowned, she definitely is. If you like action figures, and I don't typically pick up the female action figures because they don't really draw my attention, but this one definitely draws my attention. It's very well done, and I like her design. It's another Batman. Go figure. Let me see. Is there anything else McFarlane-wise I can share with you? Okay, so this guy right here, it was the Azrael from before. You guys have obviously seen reviews. This is quite old. It's been out for a while, but didn't want to pick it up because I did read the comic and I did enjoy the comic, but it's just I like the other costume better. But I gotta say I finally saw him in person, and in California I couldn't find Jack Diddley squat, but out here in the Midwest it's a lot easier. You can go to different states. If you can't find anything in your state, the other state's just right over there, and it's just a really cool looking design. I can see myself also adding paint and making this stand out in the future. So let's see who's up in the chat right now. No Power Punch. I'm out of SoCal. I am completely out. I get what you're saying. McFarlane's not. It's kind of a feast or famine with McFarlane because the articulation. I think if he would have nailed the articulation, if he just, it's there. You've seen some customs. I think I've even done some mods on, back during the summertime, I did some mods, and there's a bunch of people modding these figures, and it's there. He can just add a little bit more range to the torso and the neck, and it'd be good to go. I mean, maybe add a thigh swivel, and it's practically there, man. The sculpt and the attention to detail. There are some anatomy issues that it has, like on some of the figures. And my favorite guy to listen to is Anthony's Customs. I'm sure you guys are already subscribed to him. He does a really good job of pointing out the anatomy. it doesn't bother me as much as it does him, because I don't think that the design of some of these characters, especially if they're outside, if they're not earthly characters, even though they're humanoid in form, they don't have to follow like specific anatomical parts. I mean, I've seen people that are, they have beach bodies like this guy, right? He's got a bigger upper torso, and he's got itty bitty legs and little eyes. In California, I see that all the time, right? Dudes hit the gym and all they do is upper body. And but anyways, I digress. I like how he talks about the anatomy, and he's really pointed out some of the major deficiencies in the articulation that McFarlane has currently in the figures. And then he points out also those ball joints, although that ankle joint is on this figure, it looks like it would be fine to me. But anyways, go check it out. He talks about articulation on his channel if you haven't seen it already. But it's feast or famine. Either you're going to like the McFarlane stuff or you're not. I like it because it's DC stuff that, and that only way I've been able to get DC stuff, because I didn't really like the previous, who had it? Was it Super 7, or I can't remember who was doing it before. Mattel. I think that's what it was. I didn't really care for how they looked. So the only way I've been able to get DC on my shelf is to customize them. And thankfully, I have a little bit of knowledge on how to do that. But a lot of other folks don't have DC figures, and now McFarlane's producing DC figures. I think the main issue is that we all want the classic stuff, because we can see that he obviously does great on sculpt, but he's tending to go to what's hot right now in the comics, which he's trying to capitalize as a smart business move. But a lot of us who are DC fans want to see him do, the old school Justice League. I just recently put something out. I'd love to see him do a Metallo, like a deluxe Metallo with all sorts of different power effects. That would be awesome. I would also like to see him do a Red Tornado. I haven't talked about that, but can you imagine him putting in a Red Tornado effect? Man, that would be so awesome. Let me take a look real quick at the chat to see who is here. We got 18 people. Thank you for joining me on this Monday evening. So Vic Rodriguez says, and also the Grim Knight Batman. Oh, you picked those up too, yeah. Roundhead. Yes, I'm feeling good. My shoulder's still pretty jacked. You guys know I had a surgery. My range of motion is still limited. I'm still in pain. I have been trying to build the muscle around my shoulder a little bit more, but it's super, super painful still. And I'm almost 2 years that I had this surgery. Oh, it's about 1.5 years right now. Let me see. Hey, what's up, Jay? Jay Elite says, McFarlane need thigh swivel. Absolutely. Absolutely. It would be great. I did like that Spawn PowerPoint toys. That Spawn, again, he also lacked articulation. Super easy to add the articulation to it, but I just wish we wouldn't have to do that. But it is a pretty spectacular figure. It's one of the best ones he's put out in his lines. Thanks, Wayne. I appreciate you joining me live. What's up, Robert? What's up, dude? Yeah, I did not end up going to Columbus like what we had talked about. I'm in the northwest of Ohio. So thanks for joining on. Robert, you've been around for a long time. I think since I started doing the Toy Hunt videos. I was this close to shooting a Toy Hunt videos, but I am so out of practice that it would have been stupid. I actually tried to go live on Open Box Mafia on Facebook, and it was like I was doing it for the first time, man. And I've been on YouTube for a few years now. It was kind of funny. My experience was weird. Let me see. Jay Litt says McFarlane needs the. Okay, I think I already read that. Well, that's true. Some of those figures. So Jay says sometimes it's difficult to pose, and they are. They are, and they are including that base, but it would be nice that they would be sturdy without it, and they do have those issues. Hopefully, it'll get worked out. I just don't know. I know he listens to the fans. I just don't know if he's actually gonna change. He's a pretty smart dude. He's a pretty savvy businessman. He's, I mean, producing stuff that we've been enjoying since the '90s. Okay, and I don't think he will change. We're just hoping that he will. I mean, 22 points of articulation. Could be better. Could add a couple more points of articulation. The toe joint, for instance, that's not super necessary, but a thigh swivel, I would take a thigh swivel over a. As much as I like the toe articulation, I take a thigh swivel over that. And as Anthony's pointed out, a lot of the butterfly joints don't really function. I mean, it's nice that they're there, but they're not really functioning as a butterfly joint. So it's almost like, well, why don't you spend? I don't know. I just don't know how the sausage is made. So I don't know if it would help him to remove that articulation and do something else. But we'll see what is going on. And I'm way late on the chat. Let me see who else is up in here. Oh, I got some more figures before I continue reading. So I typically don't pick up wrestling figures unless there's something I like about them that stands out. And I mean, come on, I'm your papi. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Latino Heat. One of my favorite all-time wrestlers here, Eddie Guerrero. That face sculpt is pretty good. I think they capture his likeness well. And so I picked this guy up, and then I picked up a couple other wrestling figures. Where are they? Here's one, and here's the other. I've seen these guys wrestle. I think the gimmick's kind of but I got to tell you what, they make pretty cool-looking action figures. They nailed that face sculpt, and his garb really does make it. It's a throwback to the '80s when I started watching WWF. The characters that they had there, and this is the head sculpt, and this guy's kind of funny too. And I do see myself in the future like displaying these guys with Kamala. What I have some other what are the figures that I have? I have so I have the Kamala, I have a Hulk Hogan, Storm Collectible Hulk Hogan. I have I can't remember this guy's name. It was escaping me. I know who he is. I'm a fan of his. He's a high flyer. He's the one that does the stomp from the top rope. He comes down and he stomps. What is this guy's name? He's got an accent. I think he's from Scotland or Ireland. Somebody's going to help me. Somebody's going to help me here. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Roundhead. Yep. Yes, sir, I am. Ohio. I was actually in West Virginia just about 30 minutes ago. I'm on the east side of Ohio. Wayne Stanley says if Todd wants to do death metal figs, he should do Batman who facts. I'm not sure what that means. What's up, Jer Bear? Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it. Where are you at in Ohio? I wonder if we're neighbors. If we're neighbors, I'll see you on the Toy Hunts, player. Finn Balor, thank you. Oh, Finn Balor. I think he's in NXT right now. I think I saw him on something's going on with NXT. I don't watch NXT, but why did they move him there? Why isn't he in one of the major two? I don't understand. I really like his style. So I have him as a figure. Who else do I got? I just got the funny, I love the expression and these two dudes. I thought, man, this would go great on the shelf with Kamala, with Finn Balor in his demon outfit. And I'm trying to think. I feel like I have another wrestler. I've almost picked up a few, but Really, I my collection habits are so terrible that I wanted to hone in on certain lines, and I did. I honed in on my Transformer. Some of you guys have been around for a while know I collected Transformers, like some of you do, and I just honed in on the Masterpiece. And today I almost bought some of those. Hey, honey, what were the name of those Transformers I was looking at?
The Headmasters?
No, it wasn't the Headmasters. It was the smaller Optimus Prime
Oh, yeah.
and Megatron. But anyway, they look good, and thankfully, T-Man, we're in a chat, and I asked him if they were any good, and he had reviewed them. So if you're interested in Transformers, go check out T-Man 978. He reviewed those smaller Transformers. They actually look aesthetically, they look pretty good, but they have pretty cheap plastic from what he told me. So I passed on them. Didn't collect that. However, I did pick up a Transformer, and thinking about being honed in, and I had a story I was telling you. I picked this guy in. Pick this guy up. I think they call him Jetfire. Yeah, Jetfire or Skyfire, however you know him. This is from the movies. I don't collect the movie bots. I did have some, but I sold them off long ago. I don't even think I have any left. But just as an action figure collector, I love how action figures look. And this is a cool looking Transformer. Couldn't pass him up, so I had to pick him. What's up, Star Marvel? Thanks for joining the chat. I'm only going to be on here for a couple more minutes, guys, because I am working in the morning, and I did want to go live and say what's up. I am looking to bring again the third season of This Week in Customs. I'm also hoping to start customizing again, but that will be quite a bit of time. I'm not in a place right now. I'm kind of in between homes, and not really going to be taking over the kitchen table at this place. I don't want to interrupt my family's life too much. So, I really want. I have the itch to custom. I have the itch to, especially do some repaints. And I have some customs that I started in the summer. That when things got busy and getting ready for the move out here, I had to stop. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to picking up. What's really inspired me, there's a guy, let me see if I can find I really want to shout him out. There's a guy on Instagram that's been repainting the Bat Cycle. For those of you that are not into McFarlane, go see this guy's repaint so you can really appreciate the sculpt work that is in. I mean, there's nothing in a $20 figure or $25 figure currently that stands up. Maybe NECA, but I think even on the sculpt, I think McFarlane has them. And this dude, let me give you here we go. Oven. Oh, I just lost him. My feed. Hold on, let me find him. Okay, he goes by Ovan, OVAN underscore N as in Nancy, BCUSTOM, Ovan underscore NB custom. You can see it's a new customizer that has popped up in my feed. I'm not familiar with his work. I had never featured him before, but let me just show you. This is going to be a bad way of showing, but that's how the Bane they should have done the Bane in. He's just done a really good job of painting the flesh on this figure, despite what Tech Chucker says about this figure. In my opinion, it's I don't care if it only moved a little bit, like the Cygor piece. I would have picked this guy up. Let me show you another one that he's done. Here's the still. Just go check him out, man. He's doing really good repaints. Here's one that you can really appreciate the venomized. And he did a great job on this scarecrow. Go check him out. I know it's not going to come through, especially with the terrible lighting. I just want to show you one more. He's been doing the bat cycles. He got quite a bit of repaints on it, but I like the one that looks the most natural. Yeah, man, this thing's incredible, dude. Just love it. It got this close to doing This Week in Custom and just featuring this guy's work. Yeah, but go check him out. But getting back to what I've been collecting, I had honed in, and I remember one of the first figures that I bought. It was that Marvel Select Juggernaut. I told my wife, this is probably back in 2014. I told her, "Oh, don't worry, it's only going to be one. It's only going to be one figure." Now, almost 1,000 figures later, my collection is just crazy. I think it is crazy, regardless of what other people. Some people are a lot crazier than mine. Like, for example, T-Man, I'm sure, has got a crazier collection than me. But so I have the Marvel Legends. I have Black Series. Black Series, I'm pretty much done. Star Wars, I'm pretty much done. Transformers, I'm pretty much done. But then I got Lord of the Rings, which I'm pretty much done. A lot of those figures. And then now McFarlane, Marvel Legends and McFarlane are primarily the things that I'm collecting. Wrestling figures, I pick up cool looking figures. I picked up a Warhammer figure that it looks cool. And then the problem with me is I see things to add to them, and that's where it goes wrong for me. I just end up picking up stuff that I probably shouldn't. All right, let me run down the chat real quick. I see you guys have been writing in here. Star Marvel, thank you. It is. I love it in Ohio. It's a very, very beautiful state, and most of the people that I've run into are pretty nice. What's up, Bird of Bloodhaven? If you're still in the chat. The 86, I have Grimlock, so I have enough Transformer figures. And T-Man, I had sent people to your channel to go. I told them you saved me for not buying those Transformer figures. However, T-Man, I did pick this guy up. You proud of me? I picked up a shampoo bottle Transformer. I think actually this guy may be a little bit better than shampoo bottle plastic Transformer, but I did pick him up. What's up, Chris? Thanks for joining in the chat. Ace Outlaw Custom says, waiting to see the Red series, but haven't seen them in my Target. I wish I knew what you were talking about. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate it. And Tech Chucker deserves the amount of heat that he took, because he pretty much clowned on that Bane, and certainly there are some design flaws, especially the hips, because the joints are so tight, and that friction, the connection is so small, the surface area of the connection, that you can see when people are trying to articulate the joints, that those hips start popping out, which ain't cool. But it's a beautiful figure, man. And with the paint job that Oven guy was doing, just putting it flesh, it is a fantastic looking Bane. And with the Scarecrow on it, I just saw that's a beautiful display piece. The future, Lord willing, that I have my man cave where I can set up my my toy room. That's going to be prominently displayed. Yeah, T-Man says his collection is insane, and we've talked about him showcasing his collection, but I think he's got the similar restraints that I do, and hopefully maybe in the future you'll be able to display your collection. Elite Legend Toy says, my Bane is looking for that pinches. Hey, it's a nice looking figure. I gotta tell you, I think this head sculpt, I didn't like that first Superman head sculpt, which is probably what kept me from ultimately buying them. That, and it was just it didn't look right to me. The legs are still on the skinny side, but he does look beefier. I don't know if they changed the arms or maybe it's the color that's throwing like it's giving an optical illusion. But the legs are, I think the legs are definitely the same, but the upper body does look beefier, and it's a good look for Superman. Plus, he's a communist, my comrade. I come from communist country too, Oh, yeah, Transformers Red Series. So those are the ones that I believe those are the Red Series. Thank you. So T-Man has reviews on his channel. Go check them out if you're interested in picking them up. I saw them. I really like the aesthetic of them. I thought about, oh, maybe I'll pick them up and paint them, give them like a metallic paint. I don't know. I just thought, or maybe paint them up to look like the cartoon. But I just don't want cheap plastic. I couldn't do it, so I left them behind. Yeah, I do like a lot of them. Like I went back and forth on whether I should pick up that Deathstroke or not, because I did see, who did I see talk about it that just hated on it pretty good, and I saw his points. Unparalleled Universe. Wade was. I've been watching his reviews too. I enjoy his reviews because he doesn't give a rat's behind. He doesn't kiss up to, um, or what do you call it? He doesn't bootlick. I forget what the right term would be. Like he'll call if the figure looks bad or doesn't work, he doesn't have a problem saying it, even though that he may run into some of these guys at future conventions because his channel's gotten popular and he's got the live things going pretty good. Go check him out. I've been enjoying. I've been lurking in his chats just when I have some time, trying to fall asleep. He's had some fun chats going on, but I like the way he reviews figures. Like those guys that just don't care, just they don't they're not starstruck. Maybe they are a little starstruck when they meet like a McFarlane or stuff, but will still say, "Hey, man, your figure sucks." And he did that with the Deathstroke, so it kind of played on my mind. I'm like, "Oh man, I see all the points that he was saying," but then I saw it in person, and I'm like, I can just stand this guy up vanilla, like a stoic pose. I'm good with it. Do a little bit of repaint on that, make that figure look awesome. The sculpt again, I love the aesthetic of a figure. For example, so T-Man, he has to be able to play them and pose them and stuff like that. I like posing my figures, but I don't have to necessarily, play with them as a toy. I'm not one to mess with a figure for hours like some of you guys do, and it's just, so for me it worked, so I ended up picking him up. But yeah, there's some of the other figures I didn't pick up. That Harley Quinn, that first Batman, and T-Man will attest to this. That first Batman, that small head really bothered me. It just looked really weird on the torso. The Bird of Bloodhaven says he loves the McFarlane figures, but can't keep up with them. Man, they're so close. Marvel Legends is still the top dog as far as a line that puts out a lot of characters. They're still the top dog. However, I think McFarlane, just by making some small adjustments, can get this to work. I mean, he got me over on the 7-inch figures. I would like the Marvel Legends to be 7-inch scale. You don't have to, the bigger the figure is, the farther back you can have it. You can appreciate it from farther back, right? That's why people love the Hot Toys, because they're just big giant figures. He won me over on the 7-inch. I was one of the first ones to go, oh man, I wish it was 6-inch because that way I can display them, blah, 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 blah. I forget it. I can display DC figures in their own universe, but I definitely would want better articulation. Elite Legend says he got a Warhammer recently. Ben Jan, is this my comeback? I don't know, player. Not yet, but I will be traveling with my job, and once I'm comfortable enough doing my job, I may be doing some toy hunts. This week in customs, I'm hoping to get back this year. some time. I need to commit to a time because I want to release another 12 episodes like I did last year. But I want to make sure I'm able to do it. If I start it, I don't want to have something come up and not be able to do it because my time is tight. All right. Deathstroke has horse hooves. I think what I noticed, I think the lower legs may be mixed up. I think the right calf is on the left, I think, from what I've seen. And I don't know if that's a design or because it doesn't look right. And a few people have pointed that out. I haven't pulled mine out of package, and I won't be able to pull mine out of package. Well, I mean, I can, but I don't want to because that's another thing I have to repack when we eventually move again. Chris Clements, what's up? McFarlane has the best figures right now. I think in that scale, the $20-$25 price range, like NECA, Marvel Legends, Black Series, and then the McFarlane Multiverse. I'm sure there's the wrestling figures. I think the sculpt is where they shine. The articulation, not so much. I think the articulation, they're behind the curve, which is unfortunate. Wayne says he loves his Deathstroke. All his figures do have, but they can, man, just with a little bit of can be fixed, and hopefully down the line, they will change things up. There was a guy that Wade had on Unparalleled Universe had on his channel that worked for McFarlane, but then I'm not sure if he's still working there or if he's gone silent or not, but he was excited about, because I think one of the things that another thing that kind of puts me off about the McFarlane figures is that they don't scale well with themselves. Like Batman and Nightwing shouldn't necessarily be the same height. And that Nightwing they put out was giant. Same with the Flash. The Flash is a great fit. That's one of the best figures he's put out. I love the effects. He did everything well. The articulation can be improved, of course, but it was giant. And he's not that big of a character. So within his own line, I think he struggles with articulation. That one Metals fig, Devastator. No, it was Devastator. I think it's called Devastator. All these names used by different genres of toy lines messes me up. Devastator is G1 Transformer, but anyway, it was too small from what it showed in the comics. I feel like that should have been like maybe 2 inches bigger. Marvel Legends reused too many of the same parts. Okay, so Chris, they do a lot of reuse, but I think they put out a ton of new sculpts every year. But because they have so many figures in that line, every year they're putting out so many waves of figures, a lot more than they used to. I think the reuse is just because a lot of the characters look the same in the comics, like the Hulks, for instance. But they are doing a lot of new sculpt. So I know they get heat from that, but I think to be fair to the Hasbro team, they do put out a lot of brand new stuff. All right, I should have went. Oh my gosh, 40 minutes. I thought I was going to go on 25 minutes. I guess that's what happens with live streams. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. Thanks for the encouragement. And I'm way out of practice, man. This is not as easy as it was. I used to be able to, but now it's. All right. Elite Legend agreed that Devastator's too short. McFarlane, Power Punch says McFarlane are mostly statues. They are. They have the articulation. A lot of them have the articulation there. They just didn't go enough range. And I think that he will always go sculpt over the articulation. But I got to say, if you guys, and I'm not saying you specifically, I'm saying you guys in general that complain about that, and you guys are the ones that have your collections and you're stacking them up like sardines in your shelves, like we've all done, vanilla posed, then you shouldn't complain about it. You just want the figure to look good scope wise. I mean, they're essentially standing like statues in your collection. Uh, like I've seen a lot of the DC collectors are like that from the other lines. The other lines were terrible. Most of them were pretty terrible in their articulation too. Now, if you're posing, if your shelves are dynamic looking, then I think you do have more of a complaint. But if you're stacking them up like sardines, don't throw stones, man. Don't throw stones from a glass house. Let me see. All right. A few more minutes. Elite Legend says they reuse to keep it at a $20 price point. The price point is going up from what I've heard. Yeah, T-Man says a ton of that Into the Spider-Verse wave was new sculpt, which is true. Fet Nerd, what's going on, dude? Marvel Legends can really start to release figures inspired by the mobile games. Oh, I haven't played any of those. Strike Force, huh? The designs are amazing. Yeah, I think they do well with their designs and their sculpting. Some of their head sculpts are dynamite. I think some of us that collected the Toy Biz or had Toy Biz figures in the collection, I think that's kind of what we miss. We miss the some of them. They did really well with the sculpt. It just there's more detail and definitely better paint apps on some of the figures. I wouldn't say in general that was like that, because I do believe that Marvel Legends are better overall than the Toy Biz figures. Charles, hey, what's up, Charles? He says McFarlane articulation is so much better than it was. So yeah, it's definitely better than it was back in the 90s. He's definitely improving, because those are straight up statues with maybe just a couple points of articulation, kind of like that Psychor that they released, and I forget some Ben 10, I think that's what the line was called. All right, Fet Nerd says, well, you said a couple things here. Let me see. I don't know why YouTube is catching all your things. Everything that you're saying is being held for review. I don't know why. He says, and after seeing what Hasbro can do with 6-inch G.I. Joe, I'm getting really tired of comic designs in the main Marvel Legends line. I would like to see more texture in the clothing. All right, so maybe that is what the main difference. I prefer the comic figures, though. I think it's similar to what they went through with the Transformer line, the Masterpiece. If you guys are Masterpiece Transformer collectors, you know what I'm talking about. When they went from, this is what Optimus Prime should look like from the cartoon in toy form with updated technology, and that was that MP10. That was like the standard figure, a lot of detail. But now they've moved away from that, and they've tried to achieve the Toon aesthetic, which is softer and it doesn't have as many details. And you kind of lose some of the collectors with that, because they look at the details and they associate that with a higher end collectible. I think that's what's going on. But and maybe that's what's going on in the Marvel Legends too. Maybe it's the MCU figures do tend to be more detailed. Power Punch Toys says that movie Venom was amazing, toy of the year, and he doesn't even like movie film. I mean, either, but it does look good. I haven't seen it in person yet. Oh, I think I've already read through that. Oh, Eli Vader, what's up, dude? T-Man 97 says with G.I. Joe, they don't have to worry about license fees. Okay, well, that's interesting because they own it. Hasbro owns G.I. Joe? I did not know that. What's up, Alex? I've been MIA. Well, actually, I've been on, I still post on Instagram, same name. That one's been easier to. Did one of the mods block Fet Nerd? Because everything that he posts goes to YouTube, stops him. Fet Nerd says, I try to like the comic versions, but every time I remember the Bucky Cap mold, I can't take it anymore now. The Bucky Cap mold, I get it because there's been so many different figures produced on there, but that I recently picked up some of the Hydra agents. Love it. Looks good. What's up, Nightshade? Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. This was a lot longer than I expected to go. It's time for me to get ready to go night nights because I do have an early morning tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out and seeing all these cool action figures that maybe I'll have buyer's remorse and returns tomorrow after work. But anyways, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.